Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening, everyone. First tonight, a federal government announcement: the COVID jab will be rolled out in GP clinics next week has been labelled a shambles. Tasmanian doctors have accused the Commonwealth of jumping the gun, inundated with calls from the public, despite not being ready to take bookings.
GPs have had to adapt and change the way they've operated during the pandemic.
Logistically, it's been really difficult. It's been a very, very long year for general practice.
Now faced with an even bigger logistical operation, distributing the COVID vaccine.
It's been a complete and utter shambles. And it always was going to be, while the federal government took the line that they will not listen to general practice.
A list of Tasmanian general practices has been distributed by the federal government, advising which ones will be administering the vaccine from next week.
6 million Australians, and obviously not all of those will be vaccinated in the first week. So this is patients over the coming month.
Claremont Village Medical Centre today inundated with calls from patients and the wider public wanting to book in to get the jab, except they say they shouldn't be on the list.
We don't have it. We will do all our patients. We're trying to stop our patients worrying that we won't get to them.
Not every practice may start on Monday. It'll be practice related. It'll be up to each facility to determine what time works for them.
The state government says it's disappointed by the federal slip-up.
Yes, the federal government's communication could be better. We've communicated that to the federal government and that will be rectified.
Tasmania's Public Health Service says participating clinics will contact their patients to arrange bookings, advising them not to call other GPs on the list if they're not an existing patient.
I mean, to begin with, only about 30 or 40 GP surgeries in Tassie have come online. This will increase up to 100 as time over the next month or so.
180,000 Tasmanians will be eligible for Phase 1B. But some practices, like Eastern Shore doctors, say they have the capacity to distribute more than they are being given.
We're capable of doing up to 500 vaccines a day, whereas at the moment our group's getting 250 a week.
The federal government's eligibility checker has a list of GPs now taking vaccine bookings. Meg Sides, 7 Tasmania News.
An out-of-control car has ploughed through the Tunbridge Town Hall, with a sewing group forced to jump for its lives. Witnesses reported hearing a loud bang before one person was pushed under the rubble.
Wedged under debris after crashing through Tunbridge's heart and soul.
I received a phone call to say, come to the hall quick, there's been a vehicle drive through the front of the hall.
A vehicle comes to rest after tearing through the building, narrowly missing a local sewing group who were inside at the time of impact.
Some had time to jump up because they seen it coming through the wall. It was very lucky it wasn't a fatality.
It's believed the driver's foot became stuck on the accelerator. He and another woman were checked by paramedics for minor injuries. The clean-up effort started this afternoon. But for a community with so little, this havoc bites particularly hard. The hall, church and funeral home rolled into one now unusable until the hefty damage bill is paid, likely out of their own pockets.
So this will be a financial burden and I suspect it will close for a short time.
A big fundraising ask for a town population 150. Garth Burley, 7 Tasmania News.
The Education Union is accusing the state government of declaring war on TAFE after plans were unveiled to transform it. The Premier is defending the shake-up as ministers hit the streets to sell yesterday's string of announcements.
With millions more tipped into Macquarie Point, developers are confident the government's cash splash will see cranes in the sky next year.
The $77 million allows us to move forward with bringing infrastructure development forward.
The Premier surprised many yesterday with a string of new spending announcements and shake-ups, but one change has left the Education Union preparing for battle.
The Tasmanian Liberal Government has declared war on TAFE.
There are plans to make TAFE more like other government-owned businesses such as Hydro, a move justified by the government as making it more flexible. The proposal was flagged in a key COVID recovery report, The union fears it's a step towards privatisation.
This will be driven by profits, like all of the other GBEs, and this is not about training. This is not about improving outcomes for young people. This is purely about politics and picking a fight.
A fight already brewing in Parliament.
Premier, why are you blowing up TAFE rather than working with them to fix the problems that you have created?
Who in their right mind can argue with having a public training provider that is fit for purpose, that is nimble?
The Labor leader today giving her reply to the Premier's State of the State address.
The trouble is, Tasmanians need more than what this government is selling.
Outlining her vision for TasTAFE.
Our plan to rebuild TAFE includes increasing the TAFE workforce by 20%.
Although conceding Labor's battle will be uphill.
But I've got to tell you that I've never wanted anything as bad as I want Labor to win the next election.
An election which could arrive sooner rather than later. Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
Regional Tasmania is experiencing a strong coronavirus recovery, shrugging off a miserable 2020 to record a spike in spending. That's according to new Commonwealth Bank data released today, revealing year-on-year growth finished nearly 20% higher, despite the state being the hardest hit by COVID. Nationally, retail, hospitality and tourism saw the largest spending rise compared to a year ago. It may have started as a simple class exercise, but Layla Seen's letter to the state government has brought about real change for the state school students. Layla's letter to Jeremy Rockcliffe was part of her civics class, and it spurred a decision to make female sanitary products available in all state schools from term 3 this year.
We had to write a letter about something we felt strongly about to a politician. I knew some people who have trouble getting sanitary items, and they're missing out on some education some days.
She says she never expected her letter would actually result in the state government implementing the move. Specialist service providers are urging for a new approach to tackle youth homelessness. As a number of young people on the social housing register soars, advocates say a more diverse range of services is needed.
As house prices boom,
I'm selling! Sold!
And rental costs rise, those on the front lines of Tasmania's housing crisis say young people need different help.
The sort of housing young people needs is housing that's close to education and employment options. There's very little of it, so we need to do more.
Colony 47 are one of several providers operating at full capacity and needing more.
And at our Housing Connect front door, we've seen over the last 3 months that housing stress being more of a cause for people to present.
We have a lack of affordable houses for rent, and combined with that, we have the moratorium on evictions and rent increases ending at the end of March.
Nearly 500 young people on any given day are accessing specialist homelessness services in Tasmania. That's around 25% of all those who access them, compared with only 15% nationwide.
Young people who experience homelessness from an early age who do not receive ongoing support and assistance are more likely to experience ongoing homelessness into the future.
Financial difficulties and housing affordability are among the top causes. A lack of social housing, also an issue.
We also need to see a greater percentage of young Tasmanians allocated social housing.
Every Tasmanian deserves the security of a roof over their heads. That's why we're investing $300 million into housing.
Advocates say a more diverse range of services aiming to intervene early are needed.
The short-term services are incredibly important to provide young people with a roof over their head when they are experiencing homelessness, and to connect them into community services for additional support.
Things like intensive case management, family mediation and outreach services to ensure that all young people get the support they need.
Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
The Racing Minister has confirmed an investigation is underway into the winner of last Saturday's Tasmania Cup harness race. The Greens raised concerns today over the driver allegedly kicking the horse during the race.
The last 400 metres of the race on the night make for shocking viewing. This harness racer was fined $3,000 for his actions, but walked away with around $45,000 in prize money.
I attended the race meeting at Elwick, and I've spoken to a number of harness racing participants who have also expressed their concerns to me.
The investigation will be conducted by a steward. The culture and courage of Tasmanian Aboriginal women is being celebrated as part of the 10 Days on the Island show Back. Created and performed by solo dancer SINSA MANSELL, it draws on both traditional and contemporary dance forms, telling the story of Indigenous women after Tasmania's invasion of 1803.
Touching base on what it would have been like for a woman in the 1800s, and especially a Palawa woman here in Lutruwita in a period where sealing was dominating, one of the most dominating industries here on the island.
Back opens on Friday and is the first to be performed in the Theatre Royal's new Studio Theatre. Despite falling on a Wednesday, punters around the state have been celebrating St Patrick's Day. Launceston's Irish Murphy's opened at 6 o'clock this morning, with many of the pub's regulars coming in for a breakfast pint of Guinness, their most popular beer on this day of year.
Oh God, the keg gets changed like every hour, and then once we get busier, obviously we run 2 kegs instead of 1 keg, so yeah, a lot more.
And punters can enjoy the festivities until late this evening.
In a major coup, a former AFL star is preparing to lace up the boots in Tasmania. Former Richmond and Port Adelaide forward Jay Schultz has signed on with the old Launcestonians in the NTFA. After 193 games at the top level, the 35-year-old will play a minimum of 5 home games with an option to extend the deal. Schultz will train with his new side for the first time tonight. The Tasmanian Tigers will field a near full-strength side for tomorrow's blockbuster one-day showdown with New South Wales at Blunston Arena. Ben McDermott and Matthew Wade return to the state squad after finishing Australia's limited overs tour in New Zealand. A win would see the Tigers leapfrog the Blues into first place and help cement a spot in next month's final.
Good evening, Campania, our warmest population centre today with 25 degrees. Hobart 22, Launceston and Devonport 21, Burnie reached 19, Lyawini the overnight low with 0, Grove and Ooze 23, Strawn, Friendly Beaches, Smithton and King Island 21, Flinders Island, Lowhead and St Helens all 20. Clear skies over the south and west as low cloud gathered over the north and east this afternoon. An extensive cloud band lies over New South Wales and southern Queensland with thunderstorms along a line from northwest Queensland to the Northern Territory. Tomorrow the high remains over the southern Tasman Sea. The trough over inland Queensland deepens slightly. Winds east-northeasterly at 10 to 20 knots, lighter and more variable over the west and south, 10-knot breezes over the lakes. Hobart 25 tomorrow and sunny. Nice day for Cygnet as well. 25 the top, warming up to 27 in New Norfolk. Launceston a high of 23 and partly cloudy. Devonport 21, some cloud cover, 23 for Campbelltown. Burnie expecting a top of 21, a cloudy day, mostly sunny though for Strawn, 22. Smithton 22 as well. 21 the high for St Helens, maybe a possible shower. Swansea cloudy and 21 and 20 the high for Fingal with a shower expected too. UV down a notch to 6 but still regarded as high. On Friday fine, mostly sunny apart from a possible shower over the northeast. The chance of showers again over the northeast on Saturday, partly cloudy for the rest of the state. And on Sunday fine until showers develop over the northwest and again over the northeast. Winds freshening over the northwest later. Sunny and warm in Perth and Adelaide. Melbourne a fine 26. Showers over Canberra, Sydney and Brisbane, and with a month and a half of the wet season left, the storm still prevalent over Darwin. Partly cloudy currently in Hobart, 20 degrees, 19 right now in Launceston, partly cloudy in Devonport, 18. And that's the weather as St Patrick's Day winds down, Kim, and for all the Irish and their descendants celebrating today, Benachthi Nathila Porikot.
Well, that means, you're not going to tell me, okay. I'll look that up later as well. That is all your news for now. I'll be back later with updates on behalf of the team. Thanks for joining us this evening. Good night.